3-Point Shot, Chapter 25. Another day, another breakfast meeting. The students of the Ultimate Academy for Gifted Juveniles were beginning to get used to this daily ritual, though whether or not this was actually in their best interest was a question none of them really wanted to address. Kaede stepped in to distract them from that thought. Alright everyone, it's been a couple of days now and it's been uneventful. Now, I like that. We could use more days like that. However, I'm starting to get worried that we haven't really gotten any closer to escaping this place. Any thoughts?
If you try to put me through that real life I want to be the guy thing again.
Miu started. Among Monokuma's many attempts to break the students' spirits was the promise of an escape route at the end of a tunnel full of impossible booby traps. The class had been bold enough to try a few times, though eventually gave up when it became clear it was never going to work. Kaede was quick to shoot that down. No, I'm not putting anyone through Despair Death Road again. I learned my lesson.
It does raise a valid concern,
Kirumi commented.
Most of our actions up to this point have been reactive. We've yet to make any forward progress since we first arrived.
Most we got done was getting rid of Shirogane, and that was kind of an accident.
Ryoma added. Hey, cool off, guys! Kaito argued. Akamatsu's been doing her best! But her best just hasn't been good enough, Kokichi snidely countered. Maki scowled at the dictator.
And what would you do differently?
Kokichi smirked and turned to another student. Angie-chan, I think it's time! The artist nodded and stood up and began to address the student body. Everybody, God has thought spoken to Angie, and now what we need to do next is clear. The other students leaned in out of curiosity. Aside from, apparently, Kokichi, no one had any idea that Angie had anything new to offer. Even the die-hard members of the art club were listening in inquisitive caution. We just need to accept living here forever, and we'll all be fine. Angie's words echoed through the cafeteria. It was not an idea any of them had even begun to consider, and Angie was not done selling the idea. Trying to escape can only make things worse, you know. If we all live trying to make that happen, then it's only a matter of time before someone snaps and kills again. Meanwhile, we have food and shelter and friends right here. God's given us our own little private paradise where we can live together in peace, right? Kaede was taken aback by this claim. So, you just want us to give up? Not give up, Angie corrected. Accept the new life we can live here. A life where we're happy and safe. But we can't just stay here, the pianist argued. What about our families, our friends? Isn't that the kind of thinking that made you want to kill someone? Angie struck. The blonde lost her ability to speak. Though the others seemed to be willing to forgive her, it appeared she would never escape the stigma of what she had attempted. If none of us want to leave, then those of us who are still alive have nothing to worry about. That's what God told Angie. I agree with Angie-san, Kibo chimed in. The voice in my head also believes that is the only chance we have to survive. Gonta thinks so too. Gonta just want keep everyone safe. And God and Angie no steer Gonta wrong yet. The student body was beginning to consider Angie's rationale. The growing tension could only be eased by removing the desire to escape from the entire class. Granted, not everyone was on board. You think we're all gonna agree to this bullshit? Kaito exclaimed. You think I'm just gonna stop trying to find a way out of here? Hell no! Angie shook her head. Angie keeps saying that attitude. I am not dying in this fucking school! The astronaut proclaimed. Not before I see my family again! Not before I get to go to space! I can't die yet!
Yet?
Maki wondered. Angie, however, chose to ignore the purple-haired boy and offered a small smile. Well, we should put it to a vote, right? Who thinks it would be better to not try to leave? This was it. The moment that Maki had warned the others about. Angie's club had a large number of people in it, and it would be fairly easy for her to take the vote. Her hand went up. Kibo and Gonta's hand soon followed. After a few seconds, Himiko's did as well. Then, Shuichi's hand went up too. Shuichi? What the fuck, man? Kaito shouted. Shuichi didn't reply. And with that, a few more moments went by before it became clear that no one else intended to raise their hand. What made it especially interesting was the fact that the art club had a holdout. Kokichi, aren't you, gonna raise your hand? Angie asked. Kokichi turned his gaze to her and shrugged. Nah. Oma-kun, do you not agree with Angie-san's plan? Kibo inquired. The short-statured boy chuckled. Of course not. Staying here? That's what we were building up to? Boring. He sighed and took his leave. Well, that was pointless. Angie was at a loss. He didn't mean it. He didn't care about God at all.
I could have told you that.
Maki muttered. Shuichi was a bit more comforting. It'll be okay. Maybe he'll come around. Angie found her smile again. Yeah, okay. Angie's got some projects she's been putting off, so Angie's got to get going. Just don't forget what Angie said. Bayonara! With that, Angie too left the cafeteria, and the students were left to ponder. Would the day come when they would choose to stay in the school? As Shuichi went over his notes, he was shaken from his review of what he knew by the sound of someone beating down his door. The rather confused detective opened the threshold and was greeted by a rather disgruntled Kaito. Do you want to tell me what that was about? The astronaut questioned. Shuichi let his friend in and replied, What are you talking about? Your vote earlier! You actually think we should stay here? Of course not, the black-haired boy protested. I was just trying to maintain my cover. Kaito scoffed. Time and place, man. After what she threw at Akamatsu, you were gonna take it lying down? I don't know what I could have said, Shuichi admitted. I've told Akamatsu-san before that I don't blame her. I can't control how everyone else feels. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't change that you left her in the lurch and stood by Angie instead, Kaito argued. What should I have done? Shuichi asked. Kaito sighed. I don't know, man. I'm just getting sick of all this crap. This political bullshit's just gonna make it harder for us to work together, you know? I think we can move past it soon, Shuichi reassured. From what I've determined, Angie-san's not up to anything bad. Her methods are shady, but her motives seem genuine. Good to hear, the astronaut acknowledged. Sooner we're all on the same page, sooner we get out of this dump. Right, the detective agreed. And the sooner you and Akamatsu can get together, eh? Kaito teased, nudging his friend's arm in the process. Shuichi's face went beet red. Kaito! Come on, man. She's clearly into you. What's stopping you? The purple-haired boy asked. Shuichi just shook his head. Let's just do something else, okay? Right. Casino time! I'm feeling lucky! Kaito cheered. Shuichi smiled. Watching his friend lose horribly might buoy his spirits a bit.